Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the continuation of G.I. Joe versus the Transformers. We're going to be covering the second series, so if you haven't seen my videos on the first one, link will be in a pinned comment below. At the end of the last series, we saw Cobra was defeated and their forces were scattered worldwide. However, Cobra Commander, aided by Starscream, escaped capture and the two seemed to begin a partnership. Meanwhile, the surviving Transformers returned to Cybertron, but before they left, the Autobots shared their technology with the Joes, and we saw that the government secretly aimed to revive the deceased Decepticons for their own use. Now, this series takes place 2 years after the fall of Cobra. 18 months ago, the Joes heard Cobra has reformed and that Cybertronian technology is being sold on the black market. 7 months ago, they also received intel of an international weapons ring connected to the biker gang Dreadnocks, who are connected to Cobra. For those of you who don't know who the Dreadnocks are, they're a group of mercenaries consisting of psychopaths, vandals, and thieves led by the Master of Disguise, Zartan. The story really begins here with the Joes, Scarlet, Stalker, and Beachhead raiding the Dreadnoughts warehouse. Now, Beachhead is new to us in this story. His real name is Wayne R. Sneeden, an Army Ranger who's an all-around tough guy. I like to think of him as the solid snake of the Joe team. The Joes come face to face with the Dreadnoughts. Now, these are the original members of the group: Ripper, Buzzer, and Torch. Each of them reveals their new cybernetic limbs that coincide with their names. But honestly, this upgrade doesn't do much for them, because they get taken out quickly. These guys driving a truck try to escape, but standing in their way is who I initially thought was Quick Kick, but I was wrong. This is Charlie Ironknife, aka Spirit, the Joe's Native American mystic warrior and tracker. He leaps and drop kicks through the truck's windshield, stopping it in its tracks. This was absolutely badass. At that moment, an armored vehicle that looks like Christian Bale's Bat Tank comes bursting out of the back and starts laying down firepower on the Joes. However, the Joes have also upgraded themselves with Cybertronian technology. They protect themselves using an invisible shield. Bazooka takes out the armored vehicle's wheels. The driver comes popping out of the vehicle mounting a cannon, but Snake Eyes in his mech suit quickly takes it out. Now, I couldn't figure out who was in the red mech suit. I was thinking maybe it's Lady J, but let me know in the comments below if you know who it is. The next day in Portugal, Cobra Commander arrives at Destro's estate, where he is currently hiding out. Cobra Commander gets right to the point as to why he's come to see him. He informs Destro that his sources have learned about a science lab in Boston that has opened a wormhole between Earth and Cybertron. He explains that the wormhole is controlled by Cybertron's supercomputer, Teletran 3. It's the center of the network of wormholes crisscrossing Cybertron. What Cobra Commander asks of Destro is for him to fund the expedition. He reveals that part of his plan is to go to Cybertron and use Starscream to gain control of Teletran 3. He shows Destro that Starscream is subservient to him. It's weird that this is the case, since the last time we saw them, they were reluctant partners, but now Cobra Commander has this unexplained dominance over Starscream. Cobra Commander also reveals that once he takes control of Teletran 3, he plans on creating a wormhole network on Earth, where he can have his troops appear, strike, and vanish wherever and whenever he wants. Now, Cobra Commander, knowing how Destro's mind operates, tells him this network can also be used as an instantaneous delivery system for his arm shipments. This convinces Destro to fund the expedition under the condition that he has his own team join the expedition and that Cobra Commander be there every step of the way, cause he doesn't trust him. He orders his butler to close down the estate as he and Cobra Commander discuss logistics. This butler leaves the house and dives off the estate cliff and into the ocean. The butler is revealed to be the Joe's undercover agent, Chuckles in disguise. Now, Chuckles is kind of like the Joe's own Master of Disguise / undercover agent. He informs Joe headquarters of Cobra's plans. From here, we go to the Transformers. On Cybertron, the Great War between the Autobots and Decepticons still continues despite Megatron's death. What happened was, while the Autobots and Decepticons were battling on Earth, Shockwave conquered Cybertron. So the Autobots have been fighting to survive ever since they returned home. They've been using guerrilla tactics on Shockwave's forces. The Autobots successfully steal this shipment of Energon and escape. Shockwave has so much power over Cybertron that he isn't even fazed when one of his soldiers tells him that Optimus and his Autobots escape. Shockwave says Optimus and his resistance are nothing but an annoyance. I love that Shockwave has risen to power and is the big bad. Back on Earth, the Joes storm the science lab in Boston, interrupting Cobra's plan. Cobra Commander orders his troops to fire at the Joes, and a firefight ensues. This ends up being a bad idea. Dr. Mindbender panics, yelling at everyone not to fire at the wormhole gate, but it's too late. The computer malfunctions, and both the Joes and Cobra are immediately transported to Cybertron. Once they arrive, Cobra Commander orders Starscream to take Teletran 3, but Dr. Mindbender informs him that it's destabilizing again. Another energy surge occurs, and this time it spreads across all of Cybertron, zapping various Cybertronians away. Once it's all over, Shockwave enters, ordering his troops to wipe out Cobra and the Joes. Suddenly though, Ultra Magnus and Perceptor come crashing through the roof. Magnus activates a force field protecting both groups, and Perceptor secures Starscream. They explain to both groups that Teletran 3 has malfunctioned on an epic scale. Not only did it transport them to Cybertron, but also has sent many Cybertronians to Earth. And that's not even the worst part. Teletran has accidentally caused a crack in the time stream. It sent those Cybertronians to Earth's past and future. That if those Cybertronians aren't restored to the proper time and place, it will cause a feedback on Earth that will unleash a nuclear holocaust on the planet. Ultra Magnus makes it clear that Cobra and the Joes are the only ones standing between Earth and a fiery death. Especially since Ultra Magnus has to stay and hold the shield, which only has a 12-hour lifespan by the way, and Perceptor has to operate Teletran 3. Destro agrees both groups must work together and cause a truce, but only on the condition that each team has Cobra and Joe members. Perceptor explains that 4 groups of Cybertronians were sent away, so 4 teams need to be sent, and mentions that it won't be easy to find these Transformers since once they arrive in whatever time and place they end up in, they'll go through a camouflage protocol and scan a form and be locked into their vehicle mode. So basically they'll be unconscious and need to be awakened. He gives each team a tracking device and a disruption unit so they can track and reboot the system of each Transformer. What's even crazier here though, is that even if they accomplish all this in under 12 hours, they'll still have to deal with being surrounded by Shockwave and his army of Decepticons. The first team sent consists of Lady J, Zartan, Storm Shadow, and my boy, Snake Eyes. This is definitely an OP group here. They end up in the late 1970s. Luckily for them, they're able to quickly track down and find one of the missing Transformers, who turns out to be Jazz. He is this pimp's ride, which is pretty funny. The next bot they find and are able to track down at a junkyard is Bumblebee. The third target is owned by some guy. In order to lure him away from the public eye and get him somewhere more discreet, Lady J comes up with the idea of racing this guy and leading him to their final target. She's going for the kill 2 birds with 1 stone approach. She successfully leads the guy to their 4th target, who is in a warehouse full of cops in the middle of a bust. Lady J activates a disruption unit that awakens both targets, one revealing to be Hot Rod and the other Blitzwing. To all Hot Rod fans out there, sorry to say he won't be a big part of this story. Now before a fight breaks out or before the cops fire at them, Lady J warps them all the way back to their time. Now the second team, consisting of Roadblock, Baroness, Beachhead, and some random Cobra soldier, arrive at their time. Suddenly, they're nearly run down by some cars that are firing Tommy machine guns at each other. The team quickly figures out that they've ended up in 1930s Chicago. What's hilarious is the Cobra soldier named Percy is losing his mind here. He can handle giant robots, being instantaneously zapped to another planet, but time travel is just too crazy for him. Beachhead and Baroness have a debate on whether to use stealth or blend in by creating personas that fit with the time. They end up going with Beachhead's stealth approach and track down one of their targets, which is a red and blue truck. I wonder who that can be. Beachhead beats up these goons surrounding the truck. After interrogating one of the guys here, he finds out this truck, along with 5 other vehicles, was found by his boss, Tommy Fingers. He put the rest of the vehicles in his garage under his nightclub. They activate the truck here, which turns out to be, to no surprise, Optimus Prime. He got zapped away when he tried to save Jazz. The team explains the situation to Prime and then head to their next target. Meanwhile on Cybertron, the first team arrived safely back and Magnus secured Blitzwing. However, he reveals to the Joes the force field only has 6 hours left. Now in order to gain access to Tommy Fingers' garage, the second team goes with the Baroness's approach, which is to disguise themselves. The Baroness, using her looks, convinces Tommy Fingers to give her a tour. Roadblock gets himself into the band performing in the nightclub, disguising himself as a trumpeter named Miles Davis. This is something Roadblock would definitely do. Sometime later, the Baroness knocks out Tommy Fingers with a drug, and Roadblock takes out the goons guarding the garage. The Baroness informs the team that Tommy Fingers discovered 2 trucks and 4 cars. The second truck is filled with dynamite at the moment and is going to be used to blow open a bank soon. So they need to hurry and get that truck back before that Cybertronian is killed. If that happens, Earth is gone. Now they decide not to activate these 4 vehicles here because they don't want to risk waking any possible Decepticons. However, these vehicles are already awake and are revealed to be the Stunticons. And if you're not familiar with the Stunticons, they're Decepticons who are combiners who can combine together and form the mighty Metasaur. Now this is just 4 of the members here. That second truck the team is after is the Stunticons leader, Motormaster. Optimus and the second team make a run for it. Beachhead and Roadblock try their best to keep the Stunticons off of Prime. They're able to take out a bridge here thinking that will stop them, but that doesn't work. Once they reach the second truck, the Baroness fires at the truck, causing the dynamite in it to explode. Luckily though, Motormaster survives the explosion and the Baroness activates him. Now the Baroness gives a very solid reason as to why she fired at the truck. She says, "These are robots from another planet. I've seen them take missiles at point blank range. The little dynamite isn't going to hurt them." The team then transports back to the future. We then go to the third team, in another time and another place. This team consists of Barbecue, Spirit, Tomax and Zaymont, and Dr. Mindbender. They're all shocked at the sight that they've arrived at a post-apocalyptic future. You're not ready for this terrible future. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Next, check out this video right here. Other than that, have an awesome day, and always remember, every day to Yo Joe, transform, and go beyond.